Stand by.
I didn't rehearse what I was gonna say.
I don't ever rehearse what I'm gonna say.
That's fine. Hey guys, welcome back to MadMinute Tacticians. So we just closed out the 30th anniversary of the Glock Shooting Sports Foundation's, I don't know, is it an annual shooting?
Yeah, this is an annual shoot here at the CMP in Talladega, the marksmanship park they have here. Incredible facility, incredible people. They really know how to hold it down, and they've been holding it down for 30 years.
Well, thank you for finishing my introduction. It was super helpful. Guys, this is Alex Shay with GOA. If you did not know, Alex, hit me with your plug for GOA.
Hey, I'm Alex Shay with GOA, here to fight for your freedom every day, every way, suing the federal government every chance we get.
So what does GOA do?
So Gun Owners of America, GOA, this is the largest grassroots organization of its kind, 2.5 million members and growing. We are no compromise, absolutely no compromise. We believe in your inalienable human right to self-defense as it's written in the Second Amendment, no infringements. I think you put it best. How is it that you say it?
So other lobbyist organizations take your money and take politicians to dinner. GOA takes your money and takes politicians to court.
I love it.
I like that
So
too.
we do have directors and regional directors that are over all 50 states, and we get that grassroots movements going. So anybody can be a member at gunowners.org. Just go there, hit join, super easy. Our members are really well educated, and that is the most important part. So I have 3 things that I ask every American to do. Number 1, if you can, volunteer. Volunteer for GOA, volunteer at CMP, volunteer to get out there and move that cultural needle forward. Number 2, if you can't volunteer, donate, because if you can't fight, then help the fight. And number 3, if you can't be volunteering or donating, I at least need you to be well-read and well-learned about your inalienable human rights and how to articulate those ideas to your friends, your family, and especially to politicians. Those politicians, they don't know that you know what's up, but when they know that you know what's up, that's when they are in trouble.
They immediately back off,
It's
right?
just like this. There's no better disinfectant than sunshine, my friend.
Exactly.
And we got to shine a light on them. But also, you want to be articulate, you want to be calm, cool, collected, and confident in your ability to communicate that message. If you call them up and you're angry and you say, hey man, why don't you step off my 2A rights? That doesn't exactly translate into action for them.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you tell them specifically, hey, there's a bill coming your way, HR 4732, and subsection J has a section in it that is a violation of not only my Second Amendment, but my 4th, 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments to the Constitution. And that is speaking their language.
Yeah.
Now they know that you know what's really going
for sure.
on.
And I constantly say, like, democracy is not a spectator sport. Like, it takes active involvement. It
participation.
starts with you. It has to be you. It's not going to be an elected individual or someone else that gets out and volunteers or someone else that does it. It's up to you.
Right, and if it's to be, it's up to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to get in the fight. We have sat on our laurels far too long here in the United States. There's no such thing as being on the sidelines anymore.
Yeah,
it is zero. And actually, it never was supposed to be a spectator sport, as you alluded to.
Yeah.
It has always been about the citizenry.
That's why they said we the people,
we
not
the people.
we the government.
Correct.
Right?
So here's something controversial, I know, but in school, they teach you that there are 3 checks and balances to the United States government.
Right,
And that's
I like that.
absolute garbage.
Yeah.
There are 4 checks to the United States government. You have your legislative
Right.
that makes the laws, your executive that enforces the laws, the judicial that determines if they are or are not constitutional, and you have we the people. We the people are the people who vote in the legislative and the executive branch, and only the legislative and executive branch in tandem can nominate Supreme Court and affirm them. So it's entirely up to us.
Yeah.
And if that fails, you have the ability to call a convention of states. You can get in your state legislature and you get the majority of votes to say, hey, we want to call a convention of states. And if you can get the majority of the states to do that, then you can supersede all of Congress.
Right.
You don't even need it.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So a radical idea, I know. And then, of course, the most controversial and the absolute final and the thing that we fight every day, every way to avoid. I'm a combat veteran. I've already seen terrible things in my life, and as a combat medic, you can imagine what those are. But I don't ever want that for America.
Yeah.
I want to keep it on ink and paper.
Yeah,
and that's
boogaloo boy bullshit,
that's
right?
not the way, and that's not what anybody really ever wants. And if they do say something dumb like that,
they don't know what they're asking
for. They just do not
say
get
it all the time.
It's
You
like,
do not
brother,
know what
you
you're
don't
asking
know.
for.
Right? Yeah. And we're both vets.
Yeah.
We're both combat veterans. So definitely keep it on pencil and paper, ink and paper. Keep it civil. Be calm, cool, collected, and confident. Be well learned. But you, the people, we the people have the right to assemble, the freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment is where we get our political capital. Because if you look out there at the rest of the world, there's a whole bunch of unarmed people that just get run over every day, every way. Canada, Australia, basically all of Europe, all of Asia for sure. And it's like, well, Jiminy Jillikers, how did this happen this way? And you're like, well, they don't have any political capital. There's no reason for that.
If you lose the Second Amendment, you lose all the other ones.
You lose everything. Well, first of all, if you lose any amendment, you lose all of them.
Yeah,
because
true, fair.
Rights are not puzzle pieces.
They're also not oaths of office. Governor of New Mexico, your oath of office is not a right, but different conversation.
I can't even get started. I'm going to go back to where I was. But the main thing that you really have to pay attention to when it comes to this is that we have as Frederick Douglas said, we have the 4 boxes of American liberty. Okay? You have the soapbox, which is what we're on right now, digital soapbox, digital soap. We have our jury box, we have the ballot box, and we have the cartridge box. And we're going to do everything in our power to keep it in those first 3. Because it is a terrible, terrible mistake to ever have anything like, and we have had it twice. We have had our own revolution for the exact same grievances that we face today. The King of England decided he wanted to confiscate things, and that's what Concord and Lexington was. He wanted to confiscate magazines, ironically as they're called, in Massachusetts, ironically as it happens to be. So that is how that war got kicked off. That's what Paul Revere running. The British are coming because they were coming to seize those weapons. And then we had it again during our Civil War, where sometimes, even when you have people participating in this constitutional republic that we have, it doesn't always work out. And
that's why organizations like GOA are so important, right? Because it's got to start with the lobbyist groups. It's got to start with just being an active participant, so it doesn't get to the cartridge box.
Correct. We never, ever, ever want to go there. That is not what we need. But we have to fight for every human right. Every human right it's not a puzzle piece, not Lincoln Logs. Humans have human rights. Guns do not have rights.
Right.
Humans have rights.
Sure.
So when people say, well, they're different, it's like, okay, well, let's talk about a tax stamp for a moment. A right delayed is a right denied. That's an official line that we have, and we draw that line in the sand, and we won't go beyond it.
I've seen tax stamps come back as late as almost 4 years.
Right.
That's not.
So let's just play devil's advocate and assume that they do it within a year. But let's say I have to pay $200 for a tax stamp, and then I have to wait a year to receive that tax stamp. And you might say, well, that doesn't seem unreasonable. But would it be unreasonable for any other facet of human right?
Yeah, any other purchase, a vehicle, a pencil.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about, like, would you pay $200 and wait a year for your right to avoid cruel and unusual punishment? So you're just in a torturous situation for a year? Would you pay $200 and wait a year for the right to an attorney? So you're just detained for a year as you wait for an attorney to represent you in court. Would you pay $200 and wait for a year to go to church or to have freedom of speech or so on and so forth? Or 14th Amendment, equal protections under the law. It's not negotiable when it comes to, because you're a whole person. You're not 3/5 of a person. You're not a fourth of a person. You're not half a person. You're a whole person, and your rights don't get segmented away, just like you don't segment away any other aspect of any other freedom at any other time. So if you compromise on your 4th Amendment with something like red flag laws, or if you compromise like magazine limits, and that's your 2nd Amendment violation. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and if it starts anywhere, it goes off, and that's that slippery slope argument. And they might say, well, slippery slope, and it's like, no. every right is very, very important. Every right is worth fighting for.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, thanks so much for having me out.
Not a
Thanks for
problem.
being on the channel. Guys, if you don't know what the Civilian Marksmanship Program is, or if you don't know what Glock Shooting Sports Foundation is, you should definitely check them out, GSSF. This was a ton of fun this weekend. It is an amazing competitive shoot for brand new shooters that know absolutely nothing. You can come out and they will put gun in your hand, holster in your hand, everything that you need to run it. But if you're an experienced shooter like me, there's still, the competition was pretty serious. So, Alex, thanks again, man. Thanks for having me out. Thanks
Appreciate
for having me on thanks for being on my channel.
Nice.
Words are hard. So, yeah, that's it.